Today, I'm going to show you the exact system I'm using to grow a $50,000 a month one-person business and operate it in just 2 hours a day. I call it the 2-hour man business model. It's called the 2-hour man business model because the goal is to operate our business in just 2 hours a day. And you're probably wondering, how is it possible to earn $50,000 a month and work just 2 hours a day? Well, one word, leverage. So I'm going to walk you how I implement leverage into the 3 parts of my business model. Number 1, the acquisition side that brings in clients automatically. Number 2, the onboarding process that delivers results without your constant involvement. And number 3, the retention system that keeps clients paying for months and maximize your lifetime value per client. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how to replace sales calls, endless content creation, and client management with digital assets that work for you while you sleep. And real quick, I put all of the insights I'm gonna go over in this video into a nice clean PDF. So if you want to implement the insights into your life and business, all you have to do is put in your name and email below and I'll send you a PDF that you can implement whenever you'd like. But first, before I dive into explaining the 2-hour man business model, I want to explain to you why the traditional way of doing business will just keep you very busy and working extensive hours. So there's a simple concept I'd like to explain. So there's 2 ways you can operate your business, or there's 2 ways you could generate more revenue in your business. So you could generate more revenue in your business by either choosing to work harder, which is where you figure out the activities in your business that generate revenue, and you just choose to do more of it. So you put in more effort. Exactly what this guy is doing over here. He's increasing the amount of hours he works, he's doing more work, he's working harder. And the result of that, he is going to make more money. Okay. Now on the opposite side of things, instead of choosing to work harder, we can choose to work smarter or to implement leverage. So instead of choosing to increase the performance of the work activities at a higher rate, which is trying to put in more hours and work harder, we choose to work smarter. So in this case, we look at our activities and we look for ways where we could implement leverage. And what is leverage specifically? Leverage is forms of systems, tools, digital assets, or even AI workflows that could do the work for you. So what happens here, instead of you needing to put in more effort, you don't need to put as much effort. What happens is you get the same revenue here, or if not more money, with a fraction of the effort because you've accomplished leverage. Okay, so what is leverage? I'd like to explain this a little bit more. So leverage is something that you could deploy one time and it'll continue to work for you. So a very easy example of this is an automation, a AI workflow. Example could be a swipe file, a video sales letter, an offer document. These are all things that you could implement into your business. They'll replace one-to-one work, which is what this is over here, which is you spend 1 hour of work and you get 1 outcome. So very easy example of this is like a sales call. So on a sales calls, you're talking to one person, right? One person. And to make more money, if you're doing sales calls, you need to do more sales calls, right? That's working harder. In terms of working smarter, what we'll do is instead of doing a sales calls, we'll try to create a video, which I like to call a video sales letter. So the video will explain your pitch. It will give people a compelling reason why they should act now and why they should take up the offer and work with you. And if you know how to create a VSL in the right way and you make it compelling enough, persuasive enough, that can replace a sales call. And that video can be used many, many times, n amount of times. And that is super high leverage because every single prospect that comes up to you, you can send them that video sales letter and they could then become a client. So this is our goal here, is a 2-hour man business model works on leverage. So this is the number 1 concept you need to understand. Because once you understand this, everything else will make much more sense as I explain the concepts later, as I explain the model later. Okay, next thing I wanna dive into is how this looks differently. How does the 2-hour man business work differently from the traditional way? Okay, so if you look at any business, every single business has to do 3 primary activities. The 3 primary activities are lead generation, which is a way to market, generate leads, and get people interested in your offer or what you sell. Then there's lead conversion, which is actually converting people into customers or clients. And then finally, it's delivery, which is actually delivering the promise that you promise for your prospects or your clients, getting them the results. Okay, so that's pretty much, if we put this in a nutshell, every business has these 3 activities. Okay, how you choose to do these activities, you can choose to do it by having activities that are one-to-one activities that'll have you working extensive hours, or you can choose to do these activities using leverage. The problem is most advice or business models out there, they'll do the traditional way, which is picking activities that'll take a lot of time. Okay, so for example, this is how it looks like. So the traditional way is what people would do for lead generation is they would choose to create content on multiple platforms. So they'd create content onto social media. They're creating content for multiple platforms. That takes a lot of time. So that takes around 16 hours a week. I'm just estimating here, but that's how long it would take. If you would take, let's say you were working on 4 platforms, each platform would take around 4 hours to post 7 days a week. It would take around 16 hours of your week. And for lead conversion, they'd choose to send DMs, book appointments, and do sales calls. Okay. Now, this is the most time-consuming part of this whole thing, because trying to follow up with someone and trying to convince someone to hop on a call and knowing that they're going to be selling something is very difficult. Okay. That's why you need to calculate the show-up rate. There's a closing rate. There's a lot of steps that goes into there. And it takes a lot of effort to book a call. Okay, so this is why this is very time consuming. And then for fulfillment, they decide to do one-on-one client work, and they do all the onboarding themselves. So that itself likely takes around 20 hours a week. So if we add this all up, this will take around 62 hours a week or 8 to 9 hours a day to operate a business on these type of activities. Okay, so these activities are very one-to-one style. Okay, which is pretty much what it is over here, which is working harder. Now, our goal in the two-man business model is to shift these activities and to implement leverage and systems. Okay, that is the whole goal of the two-man business model. So there's 3 parts that allow us to do this. So concept number 1 is the one-to-N marketing strategy. So the one-to-N marketing strategy is how can you create one good piece of content? Ideally, you'd post on YouTube or a newsletter, a long form piece of content, and then how can we break that up and then redistribute that onto other content platforms? So that's what we do in the two-man business model, which is called one-to-N marketing. And instead of taking 16 hours a week, it will take 10 hours a week. The next thing is, instead of trying to book calls and trying to send DMs and trying to do sales calls, instead what we're going to do is we're going to sell with a 0-hour offer doc, which is basically an offer document or a pitch deck. And then we'd send that to our prospects and we'd sell them via chat. Okay, and that would take around 1 hour a week. Now, there's more into this. I'm going to explain to this as I go into the full model, but that is how it's going to look like. And instead of doing one-on-one client work and trying to do everything ourselves, we're going to try to productize our service and do more leveraged work. So how does that look like? We're going to employ digital tools, digital assets, systems, and everything that we could employ that will allow our clients to somewhat self-service themselves and have a productized service so it doesn't take us as much time. Because if you have to do all of the work for all of your clients one-on-one, you're going to reach a client capacity very quickly, and it's going to be very hard for you to scale. So for us, in order to make $50,000 a month and 2 hours a day, we need to have assets that'll be able to service our clients without relying it on us. So this is our goal. So that's going to take us around 7 hours a week, an estimate. So in total, that'll take around 18 hours a week or 2 to 3 hours a day. And here's the thing. If you decide to run your business the traditional way, in order to scale it, you'll need to put in more time and effort, or you need to hire people. And as you know, hiring people will increase your costs. And on the opposite side of things, it's going to take you less time and your costs are going to go down because you're not going to need to hire as many people. Now, your software subscription costs might go up, but that is still leveraged because then you don't need to manage people. You just need to manage a software. Now, the next question you probably have is, why not just start doing it this way? Isn't it simpler as it is? Well, not quite, because there's one specific insight that you must implement in order for this system to work. So the insight is this. So the way most people do business is the moment someone comes into the world, they'll start to try to sell them a high ticket offer. So let's say this is high ticket right over here, high ticket offer. And as you know, if you need to sell a high ticket offer, that requires very good persuasion skills. And especially no one just wakes up and says, I'm going to spend $5,000 to $10,000. You know, everyone's going to say, I need to think about it. It is a big investment. So just trying to sell high ticket offer right away is going to require more work on the front end. It's going to require sales calls. It's going to require more messages, and it's going to require convincing. And that convincing is basically sales skills. Okay, nothing wrong with this. If you have sales skills, definitely use it. But this is how most people have it. So the second they get an offer, the second someone comes into the world as a follower, they'll immediately try to turn them into a client. And this path over here will feel like it will take a lot of work, because no one's going to go straight from follower to client. So here's where you're going to have really low conversion rates. You have to deal with people not showing up on sales calls. It gets really annoying. It's a big time waste. Okay, instead of doing this, what the two-man business model, what we do instead is we try to qualify people with our funnel or with the model. So once we get a follower, it is much easier for us to then offer them a lower ticket offer, turn them into a customer, let them get a test drive of what are the systems we're going to have. And then once they become a customer, then we can offer them the higher ticket offer. Now, this is going to make our life 10 times easier, and it's not going to require us to spend as much time on sales calls, sending DMs, or booking calls, because we're allowing the customer coming to us. This is more like pushing people. Here, we're trying to push people to become a client. This is more like we're pulling people to become a client. And that is our goal, because if you can pull people, it won't require us to put in as much effort. We allow our model or our system to get the clients for us. And the way we do that is we have a lower ticket offer in the front end so people can get a taste of. So someone follows us, we say, hey, if you want, you can grab this lower ticket offer. It'll help you solve this problem. They get their problem solved. Then you can offer them to become a client. You can offer the higher ticket offer. So we want people to make smaller commitments before we make them do the big commitment. Because if we have people go straight into making a big commitment, then it's going to require us to do sales calls. It's going to require a lot of effort and time to do that. So the customer's first strategy is the foundation of the two-man business model, which follows the Bowtie funnel, which is how it looks like. So in order for a business to run sustainably, there's 3 phases, like I mentioned before. Now, the two-man business model has these 3 phases. So number 1 is acquisition. How are we going to get leads and customers? Number 2 is the conversion. How are we going to convert customers into clients? And then finally is retention. How do we maintain clients in our business? How do we maximize the lifetime value? And how do we make sure we run a business that doesn't always require us to get more customers, more clients, but allows us to continuously stack on the clients that we have so we can stack monthly recurring revenue and maximize lifetime value. So again, I like to call this the Bowtie funnel. And on the Bowtie funnel, there are 7 phases. So let's dive into the 7 phases. So phase 1 is awareness. It's where we try to get traffic on social media and we try to post content that'll get people to want to join our email list. So I like to call this content perspective shifting content. Now, perspective shifting content is completely different from free value content, because the goal of perspective shifting content is to change how people think about the current solutions and their problems, and have them understand what is the best way to get to a dream outcome or to get the results. And when you can shift people's perspective, it makes them more likely to click your links and want to hear more from you. So that's phase 1. So phase 2 is education and insights, or I like to call this phase the nurturing phase. So when someone joins your email list or decides to follow you, our goal is to then nurture them to a point where they decide to buy something. But nurturing can be very time consuming. The way most people do it is they send DMs, they go back and forth. But our goal here is to not use our labor, but instead to use digital assets. So here's where we deploy email sequences, lead magnets, and a daily email. So as people join our email list, we're going to do these things so they could then get the information or the perspective shifts required for them to become a customer. And the goal here is for people to then become a customer again. And the key concept here between awareness and nurturing is, again, we're going to be posting perspective shifting content. And this is going to be a core pillar that we're going to be using. Real quick, if you want to know how to use perspective shifting content in your business, I do have a free PDF explaining exactly how to create perspective shifting content so you can grow your email list and get more leads and get people wanting to become your customer and client. If you want that, click the link in the description below and you can grab it for free. The next phase is sales, which is simply trying to get as many customers as possible. So how do we get sales? Well, we get sales by selling a lower ticket offer. So here's where we have a lower ticket offer, and our goal is to maximize our sales. Now, generally speaking, there's going to be different types of lower ticket offer we're going to offer. We're not going to just offer one. As we run our email list on different months or different seasons, we're going to offer different types of one-time offers or lower ticket offers so that we can kind of shake the tree. Imagine like you have a tree of apples and you want to shake the tree. What we want to do is we want to shake the tree to extract as many customers as possible, because there are times where people might not buy because they don't like the offer or just not the right time. So we give people many chances because we send a daily email over here. We can send multiple offers at multiple times. We give people many chances to buy things. So our goal is all the time to try to get as many customers as possible, which is the sales phase. Now, phase 4 is converting a customer from interested into a client, someone that commits and decides to join our main program or a community, which is what I prefer to do. Now, the way we do this is we do this by offering people a 0-hour offer document. And a 0-hour offer document is called that because it takes 0 hours in sales calls. But an offer document basically outlines exactly what they're going to get, how it's going to work, the pricing, and everything required for them to make a decision. Frequently asked questions as well is covered on that document. That document can also be recorded as a video, so it doesn't really matter. It depends on preference, on what works better for you. But generally speaking, when people become a customer because they get a taste of what it's like to get value from us, we don't need a sales calls. All we're going to do is send them an offer document, and that'll get them to commit to pay and become a community member over here. Now, phase 5 is getting community members to onboard themselves. So it's to have a system that allows them to onboard themselves. And the way we do that is we have an onboarding system over here. And the next step is once they get onboarded is we want them to be able to self-service themselves, because not everyone, we cannot serve everyone, right? So there's going to be people that don't want to work with us one-on-one. That's why we have the community, so they can get access to help all by themselves. So how do we do that? Well, they get access to workshops and communities, templates and checklists, digital tools, AI prompts and group calls. They can get access to all of that, so they can get some ongoing support in a way where it doesn't require a lot of your time. Now, phase 6 is once people become a community member, our goal is to then retain them and get them to stay for a longer term. So here's where we can offer them longer term commitments or continuity. We can offer them a discount if they decide to commit for 6 to 12 months or longer, or we could then upsell them into one-on-one clients where we could offer them direct message access or one-on-one calls, kind of like here upselling. Okay. Once we retain them, they can become a long-term community member or they can become a one-on-one client. So we either do an upsell or a continuity deal for a discount. And then finally, the last thing is retention and expansion. So let's say a community member wants more help. We can then upsell them to offer them more help. So we could also offer them one-on-one calls, or we can offer them to build out stuff for them. Now, the key thing here is as people join and they pay, the pricing is going to start from cheapest or most affordable to most expensive. And the more access they get from us, or the more energy it requires for us to deliver, the more money we could charge. So the powerful thing about this here is if someone enters your world and they can't afford the bigger thing, you can offer them a cheaper thing. If they want more help, you can just offer them the bigger thing. Okay? So this is the best thing because this allows us to maximize LTV and to maximize our audience. So some people, instead of forcing everyone to buy your one-on-one thing, we could then monetize our complete audience and make much more money than if we were to sell only one thing. So this is why this is super powerful. All right, so now I want to dive deeper into every single phase and how each digital asset implements leverage compared to the traditional way of doing things. Okay, so in the awareness and the education insights phase, what we're going to be using is mainly YouTube videos and social posts and daily emails. So the core thing is where we start is the daily email. Now, being able to send an email every day allows us to build out our content library. So this creates a content library. And from our daily email, that's when we're able to then repurpose this email into YouTube videos or social posts. Okay, this is what I call one-to-end marketing. And you're probably asking me, why email? Why not any other platform? The reason why email is because on email, we can spend around 30 minutes and we can send one email, and that could reach however many people are on your email list. So let's say that's 1,000 people. So we send 1,000 people to your email list. And what happens on email has a open rate of 20% plus. So that means 200 people will see your offer, and you could sell an offer right there and then. So it is the easiest way to reach warm leads and sell an offer right there and then. While on social media, the average visibility rate is around 1 to 5% because it's very noisy. It's very hard to sell. So that's why you focus on email. It's very high leverage. And the next thing about email is that we can always repurpose this email into social posts to further grow the email list. So this becomes a virtuous cycle. And this is why I like one-to-end marketing. This replaces creating content for multiple platforms. You know, most people would then create for multiple platforms. They wouldn't have a way to reach their customers, so they'll be forced to send DMs. They'll be forced to post more and forced to do things. It's much more leverage to have an email list and have YouTube videos, which goes into next. Why YouTube? Why not just everything else? Now, the good thing about YouTube is on YouTube, you could post one video. Again, it will also reach many an amount of people. But the thing about YouTube is that it can act as a sales asset. It is the best thing about YouTube is that it's long form. So someone can watch the full video and actually have context and understand how you help them. While in short form content, they have zero context. They have no idea how you could help them, and they'll just swipe away. So YouTube video is long form, easier for people to gain trust, understand your philosophy and how you do things. And YouTube works super long term. So a video can continue to generate views for months and sometimes even years. So if you have a good video, that can continuously generate you leads and get you people on your email list. By the way, if you want more information on this, I have a video on my YouTube channel explaining how YouTube and email is 8 times more effective than social media. If you want that, you can click the link in the description to check it out, and I'm going to put it in the cards above. Now, the next thing is once people join our email list, the key thing here is perspective shifting content, which I haven't gone over. So perspective shifting content is content that will shift people's perspective to view what you're talking about as something that is important and not something that is just nice. Now, I'm not going to talk about perspective shifting content in this video because if I do, it will take another 20 minutes. In fact, I have a full guide below you can check out if you want to learn how to create perspective shifting content to get people to actually want to buy your stuff, click your links and do all the stuff that you want them to do and become clients. So if you want that, click the link in the description. Now, the next phase is education and insights. So we want people to be educated on the way that we could help them and convert them into customers. The way we do that is we're going to use email sequences and lead magnets. So what this does, this pretty much, instead of us explaining to someone, we could package all the objection handling, all the philosophy, all the explanations, case studies, everything that could be packaged into an email sequence or a lead magnet or even a case study breakdown so people can get familiar on how the methods that we talk about or how our intellectual property can solve problems. And once people have a good understanding, it makes selling easier. Okay, so that's why we have email sequences and lead magnets. And the next thing is we also have daily email, which we could then sell a specific offer. So the goal here is we want people to be super familiar with the process and showing exactly how it works before they make a decision to buy, even if it's a small commitment. Okay, so this makes it 10 times easier for you to make sales instead of you, again, trying to sell manually. And again, and these are all assets here because, again, one daily email can be collected into your content library, which can be reused again. You could resend it, repurpose it. Email sequences run automatically, and lead magnets can be used to grow your email list and reach a lot of people. So the next phase is what is the lower ticket offer, or what do we actually sell? So you can sell pretty much anything that allows people to get results. So usually this is going to be a digital product or something that you've packaged that helps people get results. So you'd package your frameworks or whatever. So this could be a digital asset, could be a tool, could be an AI framework or an AI prompt. So you'd look at your system and figure out what are the components that you can sell as a one-time offer that people can buy. Okay, so that's kind of like selling something affordable. Instead of them making a big commitment to buy your full program or your full system, you can sell a piece of the system and you package it like a magic pill where someone can buy it and implement it, and they get value from it, they get results from it, and that in turn will get them interested into your main system or your main program. Okay, so that is one-time offers. And then the other thing we could do is we could sell short-time experiences. So this could be like cohort challenges or live workshops that last a day or a few days. Now, these are great because when people are more willing to pay money at first to solve a smaller problem than trying to make a big commitment to solve a bigger problem. At least when when they first get across you. So offering one-time offers and a short-term challenge or a short-term experience makes people excited to spend money with you, and it makes it easier for them to become then interested in potentially working with you. Okay, so once customers pay, the next part is they are interested. So here's where we want to offer them a way to work with us or to join our community or our main program. So here's where we use a offer document or a video sales letter. Now, a offer document works because you need to have 4 things. Number 1, you need to be clear on the transformation or the promise. What are they going to get when they join? Number 2, they need to have a clear path to the transformation. Number 3, you need to answer their questions or handle objections. And then number 4, the offer needs to be affordable or easy to get started. Now, when you have all these elements and you put that into an offer document, you can get sales without a sales calls because people already experience the value. The next step feels like a logical next step, and because it's clear, they know exactly what to do. It's a promise that they want. You handle their objections. You answered all their questions, and it's affordable and easy to get started. People are likely to join without requiring sales calls. Now, a sales calls is just a way or a medium to explain people how things are going to go, a way to handle objections, and a way to make people feel secure in their investment. Well, because we're making it easy to get started, it's somewhat affordable, and we're answering all the questions on a document, we don't need a call. So it makes it easy. So then people can then commit. Okay. And again, because we're doing a community, it's not going to be super expensive. People are going to be able to join. Now the thing is, there's one aspect here that's very important is scarcity and urgency. So when we sell, we want to make sure that we have a limited amount of spots. So limited spots and a deadline. And this is not going to be fake. This is going to be real because every single business has a number amount of people you can help. You cannot help an infinite amount of people. You can help only X amount of people. And if you can help an infinite amount of people, maybe run a SaaS, or maybe you can have a lot of people in your community. Well, then you just cap it to a point where you believe you can still provide a quality service. Okay, and then we have a deadline. Now, what these do is we want to make it clear. You want to show people that, hey, I'm only going to get 5 people here, 5 people in this time, and it's going to close on this date. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to push people to take action. Because if you are open the whole time, like every time, people are going to think about it. They're going to say, oh, I'll join next month. Oh, in 2 months later, I'll join next year. So they'll think about it. So if you have a deadline, people are likely going to take action now. So use it to your advantage. So, and besides, a lot of people don't know what it's like on the other side. So only on the other side they decide that, oh, this was the best decision. So you don't know if it's a good decision until they commit. So try to help them in making the decision. So again, having all these elements in place allows us to get people to commit or pay money without a call. Now, the next step is when people join, we don't want to be spending all of our time trying to onboard people. What we want to do is we want to have an onboarding system that onboards people automatically. So that's where we have an onboarding system as an asset over here. So on the onboarding system, we want to have a step-by-step walkthrough exactly on how people can access the resources to get the results that they need. So whether it's going to be workshops, templates, checklists, digital tools, whatever it is, we want to show them exactly how they can get help over here. So they get onboarded, they become a community member. We want to make sure that they can get access to this and they can experience the value that they need without asking you questions. Because if they're asking you questions, then you're just wasting time. So instead, you want to make sure you have a robust system or a roadmap or onboarding system that allows people to experience the value themselves or self-service themselves. And what this is going to do, this is going to allow you to add more clients or to get more clients in less time and service more clients in less time. So this is very important. Now, once someone becomes a community member, the next goal is to try to maximize the lifetime value of every single community member. So we want people to stay in the community for as long as possible. So here's where we want to make sure that the value we have is actually valuable and that we are adding towards this. Every single month, we're adding value towards this. And this shouldn't take so much time because you're already working with clients. So as you're working with clients, you add what works into here. So there's always going to be more that could be added or things that could be cleaned up or improved. So you want to always improve the value so clients can stay. Now, the next thing is clients who pay an X amount of money. What we could do is we can offer them a long-term deal, which they can get a discount if they decide to commit for 6 to 12 months. So this makes it better for you because you get more money upfront, and it makes your business more sustainable and durable. Okay. Now, once people can do two things. They could either decide to stay a community member where they stay on a lower tier, or they can choose if they want more help. You can offer them direct message access to you, which is right over here. So this is kind of like one-on-one help. So that's where we upsell people. And then if they want even more help, you can offer them one-on-one calls for even more money. And then if they really need your help and you're open to it, you can offer them to build stuff out for them over here. So the offer over here on how you can help them is very flexible to how you want it, but you can basically retain people by giving them a long-term commitment or continuity. You can upsell people by offering them access to you. So either your phone number, direct message access to you, or one-on-one calls, one call monthly, one call weekly, or you can offer to build stuff for them for a project. Maybe you want to build a project, you can do a quote, some deliverables, you can offer them to pay money that way. Now, the powerful thing here is that we can slide people based on what help they need. So ideally what we're going to have in the onboarding system, we're going to have an onboarding form, right? And on the form, what we could do is we could then decide, or we can offer them what would be more relevant for them. Maybe someone comes into your world and decide, hey, I need systems that are custom built, blah, blah, blah. Then we can offer them a build out. Or if they say, hey, I want someone that could actually review my content, review my work, then we'd offer them a direct message access. Or if someone wants coaching and they feel like they need accountability, we can offer them one-on-one calls. So this allows us to basically deliver what the person needs and to make more money based on who needs more and who needs less. Okay, and again, like for all of this, we don't need the call. We can just do it by having an offer document, and just sending the offer document how it would look like to work with us. So we can have offer documents to work with us one-on-one. We can have offer documents for a downsell. So let's say we just got a client a big win and they're deciding that, hey, they don't want to work with you anymore. We could offer them a downsell or even a long-term commitment. So again, we're looking for ways. There's one theme here is that we're looking for ways that we could do aspects in our business without requiring to do a call and without requiring us to take time and energy. So we're employing all these digital assets so they can do the work for us. And the most important thing here is the model focuses mainly on LTV and maximizing LTV, lifetime value. So the way most business models they'll work is they'll get clients, they'll pay a high ticket price, maybe like 5,000 or 3,000 plus. Once they get the results, the client will just disappears, right? There's no way where we could maximize the amount of value each client pays. So what I like about this is that we're maximizing LTV. So we don't need as many leads, or we don't need to post as much content. We don't need to spend as much ads. We don't need to get that many leads. We just need to clean up and make sure we maximize every single person that comes into our world so we can make as much money out of them, obviously in a way that is beneficial for them and they experience value. So it's a win-win for both the business owner and the clients. Now, you're probably asking, how does this entire system actually run in just 2 hours a day? Okay, so again, we're going to be using digital assets and systems to do most of the work for us. So we won't need to do a lot of the things. The most important things that require our energy is going to be content creation, which is sending a daily email or writing one perspective shifting email. And this email is kind of the core asset of all of our acquisition side of things. We're going to use this email to help us create YouTube content, to redistribute into social posts, and to nurture our list. So it's one content piece, very impactful, and it can be used an amount of times. So I like to call this a one-to-end marketing strategy. Next thing is system management. So it'll take maybe 30 minutes a day to review metrics, check your automated sequences, respond to high priority messages from clients, and monitor your funnel performance and making sure everything is running smoothly. That'll take around 30 minutes a day. Now, the next thing is high leverage activities, which should take you around 60 minutes, where you focus on activities that directly impact revenue. So this could be recording a YouTube video, creating a new digital asset for the community or a new workshop, or creating a new marketing campaign, improving existing systems, strategic planning, or working with premium clients who pay for direct access. So that's generally how it would take to work in 2 hours a day. Now, everything else will run automatically. So email sequences will nurture our prospects for us. Offer documents will convert for us. Onboarding system will get clients started. Community resources will help answer questions. And retention offer documents will help us maximize lifetime value, which we could send. So it is very streamlined here. So the only thing here is that in order to get to this state, it's going to require time to build these digital assets, which might take more than 2 hours a day. Especially if you want to get all these elements built, because systems aren't built in one day. They're built piece by piece, and you need to build leverage slowly. But by the point you build out this whole system, you should be able to operate your business in 2 hours a day. And by the way, I'm actually building the system live on my channel. I run a series called Project Build Leverage, where I actually build out all of these systems. I document and show you how I build all these systems for my model to eventually earn $50,000 a month in 2 hours a day. If you want that, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And there's already 3 episodes out at the time of recording this video. I do publish a video every week updating my journey. So feel free to subscribe for that. And again, if you want to implement the exact model I explained today, you can grab a PDF for free below, including all the insights I'll be sharing.